Kerby Joseph just landed on the PUP list, and before you panic, there's a number Lions fans need to hear first. $26 million. That's what it would cost the Lions if for some reason they decided to cut him right now. Lions fans are wondering, is this maintenance? Is this PUP move maintenance or a warning sign? We're going to break down the PUP rules, the knee, and the cap math nobody's talking about. Let's get into it.
I don't understand why there's something new here, because we've been talking about this for months. Kerby has some degenerative knee issues. Kerby didn't play the final 11-ish games last year. Kerby sought alternative treatment methods. The doctors that have actually reported on this have said that this degenerative issue is very severe and significant and that he may never play again. Now, all the facts, piling up there. The alternative to this is, because as we may remember, Dan Campbell actually said last week, he said he's getting treatment. He's done everything that he can, different things in different places to try to help. I feel good about that, feel good about everything we've done so far. And so we won't know, honestly, we probably won't know until we get into the thick of training camp. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the Detroit Lions may be taking the conservative route as it relates to putting Kerby out there. Those first days of training camp are meant to acclimate players. And why put Kerby in a position to where he's out there just absolutely grinding away, wearing his knee out more, giving him the possibility of playing some ball this year? So it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's activated at some point here in the near future.
Yeah, I think people need to realize that, Brent. Let me hit pause and let you finish. I think a lot of people don't understand when it comes to PUP designation. At any point in time, we can pull that player off PUP, right? There's a difference between, there's two different, and Dan, I think there's two different PUPs,
Posted
right?
at the bottom of that. Yeah, it's at the bottom of that article that we put up on the site. There's a nice screenshot that explains it all from NFL.com, and we don't even need to go into it. If you click on it, it'll make it nice and big.
There you go.
Thanks, Dan, for all the work.
Dan's always picking that site, Gray Mains, as he should, of course, which is our website. Yes. There's a difference between PUP list, NFI, and all of that, which you can do.
Let me go over to Dan, because I think he's got some things that he wanted to share as it relates to the activating players. So
think of it as more of a maintenance move. It could be all three of these guys could have long-term injuries. I doubt it, but we know Branch probably isn't coming back till later in the season, October, most likely. Joseph is an unknown and Conklin's an unknown because we don't know what his injury is, but we just saw he had his camp at the end of June. He didn't look hurt, didn't have any bandages or braces or anything else. So I'm not sure what it is. So back to the PUP, the way the PUP works is if you put someone on the PUP list before camp starts, then you could take them off that PUP list at any time during camp up until the last cut down to 53 players. If they haven't been removed from the PUP list by that time, then they have to decide, do they want to place them on the reserve PUP list, which would automatically make them ineligible for the first 4 games of the next year. So we missed weeks 1 through 4 of this upcoming season. So that's where they're at. It's more of a maintenance thing at this point, or an administrative thing is probably a better word, right? Let's get these guys that we have some questions about on the PUP list. And to Brent's point, the first few days of camp, they're getting them acclimated, they're bringing them out there. Why put wear and tear on these guys with injuries during that time frame when they can have them working off to the side with trainers, doing testing, things like that. So if Kerby's knees feeling fine, they can have him go over there and put him through some backpedaling drills, some cutting drills, things to see if it's going to flare up. If it flares up, that's not good. But they haven't brought him on the field and taken him out PUP and basically hosed him for the season, right? Because then you have to go on IR, which I think is actually 6 weeks instead of 4 weeks. If you come off PUP and then have to go on IR at a later point during camp, then it's an automatic 6 weeks. So yeah, I think it's just administrative at this point. We'll know more. Obviously, Campbell's press conference, I think, is Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, we're going to know for sure what's going on with these guys. And by then we could see Conklin off of it, and we'll have maybe have a Kerby timeline. If he still says come Wednesday, we don't know. We're just have to see. Then it is what it is. This could be a situation like with Decker last year where he didn't practice at all and he just played on Sundays and he gutted it out. We'll see where it's at. I don't think he's done either. So thank you, Detroit Sports Talk. I agree. I don't think Kerby's done either. I think that he's going to be managing this, whatever it is, at least this year,
Yep.
and maybe forever. I don't know. But the guy's too much of a competitor to just say, I'm done.
Seeing Donkey Kong's comment here as well, I think there's a lot of Lions fans that do feel this way, that Kirby's career is over, and that they've been saying it for months. And there has been months where we're just like questioning what's going on, where he's posted shots of his treatment, and there's all kinds of that going on. So I think there is a contingent of the fan base, Brent, that does feel this way. How would you address Donkey Kong's comment? Because I think it's something that Donkey Kong's got the guts here to make this comment, and there's a lot of the folks that have watched and listened to this show that have said the very same thing. What would you say to them? All right, we'll get right back to the video, Lions fans, but real quick, before we jump back in, we know how much you love your stats, but our own stats show a shocking number of you watching right now aren't even subscribed. Come on, Gray Mains, go down in the comments there, hit the subscribe, hit the like button. We go live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, we do pregame shows live all season long. You'll get reminders of that and other great Lions-related content. Subscribe now, and somewhere, a Vikings fan just lost a horn. All right, back to the video.
Kerby Joseph is signed to a big contract. The Lions' salary cap implications are huge for cutting him preemptively or proactively. As you said, and as Dan alluded to, there's a due diligence process here that's ongoing.
Yep.
It may be, and Dan, great word, maintenance. Mm-hmm. Kerby, I said basically the same thing, but you boiled it down to maintenance, which is true. And then the Lions did the right thing. The Lions have stacked that safety room, as we've talked about for weeks now,
yep,
with Harper, Maddox, Izzian, Clark, Jackson, Strickland. And look, what would be the best thing to happen? Kerby Joseph would come back and have a stellar season. But if I've got a strong feeling that even if Kerby Joseph plays, then these other guys are going to play a big part. And if Kerby Joseph plays poorly, we posted the PFF grades a few weeks back, and he had statistically, he was below all of the Lions safeties last year. If he plays the way that he played last year, meaning that he's not up to snuff, he's not going to be playing. The Lions would not hesitate to put him on injured reserve, as Dan said, so he's out for 6 weeks. Do it late in the process so that he can get the max amount of rest in the hopes that something might change. But Dan, I hit on the salary cap if you want to jump in on that, because I think it would be good for folks to know exactly what the implications of cutting him immediately would be and how that might play into the Lions' decision ultimately.
So this is from Over the Cap, and I set this to a June 1st cut. So the red line on the graphic indicates at the point where the Lions won't be adding more money to their dead cap by cutting him too early, right? His contract was always designed to be through 2027, essentially. And then after 27 was the point where the Lions, you can see on the red line there, it's that far right column you're looking at. If that thing is in red, that's bad. That means that even he's cut post June 1st, all of that red money gets tacked on to the column to the left of it, which is the dead cap. So you can see this year we'd already are at 15.8 million at dead cap if we cut him, and we just pile on another 10.3. So you're talking about $26 million in dead cap to cut him this year. Next year, down a little bit, but it's still close to $18 million in dead cap. The year after that, though, then we start seeing net gains. So 2028, or if you cut him after June 1st, then starting in 2028, the difference between the right and left columns is your net cap savings. So it's basically $4 million in dead cap in 28, but it's $9 million in cap savings. So you're talking a $5 million cap net gain that can then be used to replace him on the roster or find another player to put on the roster. This contract was a very well-designed contract for the Lions. Obviously, the injury is complicating that. If it wasn't there, this would still be a steal. He's worth every dime. So we'll see whether he comes back or not. I don't know. I think like I said, I think we're going to get something out of him. I don't know what, but to Brent's point, they're not going to cut him. He'll be here through at least June 1st of 2027. So next year, they're not just going to cut him and absorb massive amounts of cap. I think he'll be here through next year altogether, even if he goes in IR both times. Yeah. Unless he retires and they work something out with him, but he's not going anywhere.